Hey, 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 ladies. So, here is the review from what we talked about in class on Monday and what you should be working on for the rest of this week before class on this next Monday. The replay from Monday's class is below. But I wanted to send this particular message so that those of you who are having trouble with the homework, that you'll have this to refer to. So some of you didn't make it to class, so you need to go ahead and watch the replay from class first, and then what I'm about to say will make sense, okay? The first thing that I want you to understand is that you may not know exactly what it is or where it came from or where it started, the thing that you need to write about. But I need you to start somewhere. All right. So one of you messaged me and you said that it was anger that you're dealing with. And so my commentary to her was start with the first place that you ever felt angry, that you felt it rise up, or when you begin to feel like, anger was an issue. Start there, go back, write it all out. Begin to write out every incident where you felt angry and where something made you feel angry, because you'll start to explore the different stories or the things that have caused you to feel the way that you felt in your life. But here's the thing that I want to share with you all. Literally, who you were when you were a kid, when all of these things happened to you, or when you were a teenager and these things happened, or when you were in the first relationship or first marriage, or when you first got abandoned or rejected or molested or raped, you are not that individual anymore. Like literally, psychologically you're not, and physiologically you're not. We shed cells, we change, we go through the motions. Our DNA, we have so many different things that shift and change in us. So we are literally a whole different person than what we were yesterday and the day before and the day before. So imagine years ago. What keeps us tied to those things are memories that are presented. And so we continue to mutter over certain memories, and those things are pressed upon us, and it controls our life and our way of being. Some of us will say, well, I don't remember what happened to me. I just know that this is how I feel. Well, you don't remember in your conscious, but your subconscious remembers. So it continues to respond based on that experience or based on that incident. So for those of you who do not remember, there is still subconsciously working your life. If you were molested at the age of 5 years old and you pushed it out of your mind and you don't really remember it, because that was your defense mechanism, you still then, from that day forward, begin to be very careful about who you sit with, about where you go. If people offered you to be able to spend a night to their house, you were very conscious about it. You were nervous about it. And so even though you push the experience out of your mind, your behaviors continue to go along with, I need to protect myself. Okay. So if you were younger and something happened and it made you angry, it made you extremely angry, and you weren't able to express that anger because you were told that you shut up and you stay in a child's place and you don't do this and you don't express yourself, or you better shut up or I'm gonna give you something to cry for, you begin to repress these things, suppress these things, push them down. And so then after that, you were having outbursts every time because you felt like somebody wasn't trying to hear you and you were telling them the truth and they weren't trying to listen. And so now you feel like you have got to give an outburst every time. What happened between the ages of 0 months and 7 years old has had a greater effect on your life than some of the things that you experience right now today. You are still living in fear. Some of us are living in fear because something happened when we were young and it made us afraid. And so we started navigating our life to protect ourselves or to survive. But that has been the thing that has broken us and not allowed us to live in our freedom and our liberation. So as you are writing, some of you are writing letters to your parents. You are writing letters and you're having a conversation with them in this letter. You're giving them the freedom to be able to express themselves. What would be the thing they said to you? Go off of every scenario and begin to respond. Get it out. Start getting your feelings out and your emotions. You want to be able to talk to them. This is your way to do that without, feeling as if they're going to say something that I don't like. Well, guess what? I need you to think about everything that they will say. even if you don't like it. But because you're doing it inside your journal, you can continue the conversation until you get to the point where you feel free and liberated. You're not going to hold them hostage. You're not going to pretend like they are the devil and you are the greatest saint in the world, because we all have shortcomings. You're going to allot for that. You're going to remember that the reason why their brokenness affected your life is because they had brokenness in some way that they did not deal with it. But you are not going to be that. You're going to deal with your brokenness so that we stop this generational thing, because it's what they would call generational curses. Well, who's going to break the generational curses? Some of us went through some things, and so we decided, well, I'm never going to do that. And so we went to a totally different extreme. We didn't go to the middle. We didn't find the balance. We went to a total opposite extreme. And so that is now affecting our lives. We are totally lenient now with our children because we went through what we went through with our parents. And so that leniency is causing them not to have the respect that they should. They feel like they can say what they want, do what they want, because you've allowed that to be able to happen. Now, there is a balance between that where you give your children the opportunity to express themselves, say what's on their mind, but you say to them, I understand what's on your mind and I understand your reasoning. And so I give you the room to make this decision. But if you make this decision, these are the alternatives to that. This is the thing that you could do. Because if you violate this particular law or principle that we have in this home, then this is the consequence that's going to have to happen. And so you have to get to the point where you find the balance of letting them express themselves, not shutting them up, because you didn't want to be shut up. You wanted to be understood. So leave room for them to be understood. But still, if there's something that you have to be solid about, there may be some things y'all may be able to compromise on. It might not hurt you to let them wear their hair a certain type of way. And the reason why you won't let them wear their hair that way is because your mama told you you're going to wear your hair like this. And then you grew up and you adopted that same attitude as your mom. So you don't give your children any type of liberty. Well, that's not so great. And then some of you are just letting them do whatever, even if it's something that can harm them, but you're not giving them the truth of what the consequences could be. So we have to find a middle ground. And we can't be who our parents were because we're not our parents. We are who we are. And so when you begin to, the things that you loved about your parents, the things that you loved, the way that they did things, it's okay to adopt those same behaviors, but does it benefit your household? And then things that you did not like about your parents, sometimes they were doing the best thing for you. And you got to be able to evaluate whether or not it was the best thing for me and I just didn't like it, because it might be the best thing for my children. So I need to think about that. And then there are the things that absolutely were horrible and you never want to do it or repeat it. And so you don't repeat those same behaviors, but you don't go all the way to the left. You find the balance and you walk that path. So some of you are writing letters. Some of you are dealing with, some of the things that I just spoke about. Some of you are trying to find out why your walls are up. What is it that has your walls up? Are you bitter? Are you angry? Are you prideful? Are you feeling like I'm never going to let this happen to me? So you decide to live this fake life instead. So you're putting on a mask every day like you don't want to be loved. You don't want to be cared for. You don't care about this. I don't care about that. And I'm doing me and it doesn't matter. And I don't care what they say. And you're doing all that stuff talking about you keeping it 100. You're not. That's not real. That's defense. So we have defensive walls up. So some of us are going back to find out where it started. For me, a lot of things started when I went to public school, when I started going into public. So when I went to school, when I went to church, when I went places where I was trying to be friendly and love on people, because my mama taught me how to be loving towards people and invite people in. Everybody was family with us. And so when I went out into the public, I wanted that same thing, but I got something different. And so it threw me back for a loop. It made me emotional. It made me cry. It made me feel like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Was my family lying to me? Well, am I really a good person? Am I really pretty? Am I really loving? Or were they just saying that? Because these people out here don't seem to think that. And then I was bullied because of who I was. See, I didn't know anything about this being, the results of them being broken too. I didn't understand any of that at the time. So I began to adopt certain behaviors. I began to get defensive. I began to try to defend myself. I began to try to, almost be a little bit hard in my heart, to where I started being mean to other people. And so I had to check those behaviors, because that came out of me trying to defend me. I realized that I was always trying to prove to somebody that they didn't need to give me something in order for me to love them. I don't have any expectations. You can do whatever you want and I'm still going to love you anyway. And I realized that the root of that came from when I used to go, my mom used to take me to see my dad for revivals, and I would ask, how he was doing. Or one time I think I asked him for money. He was like, Daddy don't have no money right now. And then every single time I would see him, he would say the same thing before I even had an opportunity to ask. So then I begin to say, you know what? My dad may feel like I'm just here to get his money. So I don't want him to feel like I expect anything from him. So let me not expect anything from people. Going back to find the root to why. But then renewing my mind, right? Being transformed by the renewing of my mind, which is what we're going to start on this Monday, so that we can begin to heal these places. I had to renew my mind. It wasn't my fault that my father made excuses. But he also didn't get the healing that he needed for his life. So I released him, right? Even before he passed away, I had to release him to deal with his own issues and circumstances. And I had to deal with my heart. Why are you holding grudges against somebody who's human, who made mistakes? Do you like people holding grudges against you because you made mistakes? No, I don't. Well, now you need to fix this behavior. You need to change the way you think about it. So then you go through the motions. Well, I want y'all to go ahead and keep getting this stuff out. Go ahead and find these roots and these the scars, the wounds, the pain, the root causes to your issues. I need y'all to get this stuff out. Get it out. Write the letters. Write letters to yourself talking about these things. You may get emotional. You may cry. You may want to scream. You may feel like this is something that you just, I can't do this, but you can. And I need you to push through. All right. So go ahead and write this stuff out. Stop making excuses for people. This is not about making excuses for people. We're acknowledging that people have hurt us. We're acknowledging that we have hurt other people. We're acknowledging the behaviors as real. But we have to begin to reevaluate how we're allowing it to control our life. Are we still making excuses for people? Are we not taking, just saying, hey, this is the decision that they made and it was a decision that affected me greatly? That's not letting them off the hook. It's just simply saying that this decision affected me. I understand that they may have been broken, but it still hurt me. So now I have to acknowledge what they have done and then deal with my heart on the matter. This is not about making it seem like, well, the reason why, and this is why they did it, and they went through this and they went through that. Some of us, again, at the other extreme, we're making excuses for everybody, so we're not allowing them to take responsibility for it. And we're not taking responsibility to say that, yeah, I know they went through some things in life, but I don't have to stay around for the abuse and the mistreatment. So dig deep. Dig deep in every way and write and write and write and write and write. And so on Monday, we're going to talk a little bit about some of these scenarios. And then we're going to go into talking about how we begin to be transformed by renewing our minds so that we can heal. There is no spiritual liberation without your soul's healing, because you won't be able to love properly if you're still holding grudges, and you won't be able to love properly if you won't allow other people to take their own responsibilities and you heal yourself. So y'all are on the right track. I'm so very proud of y'all again. Thank y'all for showing up for yourselves. Thank you for showing up for yourselves, and we'll talk again soon.